How would you describe the difference in popularity of soccer, U.S. relative to internationally?
I think the trouble with with American soccer is it's not soccer itself. It's such a big country. You're talking about a sport that's relatively in its infancy. I know we've played it a while, and the league is 20 years old now, which is crazy to think, or something like that. But these other sports have been around for forever, and when you look at soccer, it's competing from a popularity standpoint at like number 4, number 5, maybe trying to compete with hockey. Whereas in England, it's the number 1. It's the only sport. It's a country the size of Texas, maybe smaller, and it's the only sport. Everyone, men, women, kids, grandparents, everyone knows about football, something about it. Okay, they have cricket and they have rugby, but it's not even close. Those are a distant second and third. So it's the national sport. It's the blood and lifeline of English people, of Italians, of the French, of the Germans, of the Spanish. It's everything. The cities and towns and villages and the country stops, and it's hard when it's hard from a popularity standpoint to compete when soccer is not our number 1 sport, when we have such a big country. The allegiances aren't as tight as some of the other sports.
Because we may lack the talent in soccer players right now, but it's not as if we lack the quality athletes. They're just
that's right.
in NFL and maybe not that many in baseball, but basketball and hockey. And so how do you get some of the other best athletes, as they're growing up? How do you encourage them to pick soccer?
Yeah, it's a big question. I think we need to. I think soccer at a youth level is very, very popular. It's one of the most popular youth sports. Right. I think America, as individual teams, as a league, as a country, as a federation, we need to get into the inner cities more. We need to get into the Black communities, the Latino communities. We need to have. I think when you grow up as a kid, you want to be who you see. I saw Michael Jordan on television. He was on all the commercials. I saw him on TV. You don't really see. Now we're starting to see soccer players on TV because it's cool, and it's in fashion. But when I was growing up, we didn't have that, and I think that's how you get into kids' faces. You see Clint Dempsey scoring a bicycle kick on TV, and all of a sudden the kid says, "That's who I want to be. I want to go to those games." And that's how someone becomes your idol. Not blindly. You have to see it. It has to be in your face.
How much do you think it has to do with the lack of money in the sport in the U.S. Compared to the other big leagues?
I think it's a poor excuse, only because if you look at what basketball is and sandlot football and all the sports we know, you just get a ball and you play with your friends. When I'm in England, I'm in Manchester or Liverpool. Kids come home from school, they get their little clip-on ties, they put them on the floor and make goals, and they play in their school clothes until street lights come on. That's not a cliche. That's what happens. That happens even now. In America, we think of the sport as having to have soccer moms and jugs of sports drinks and all the uniforms paid for. It's too much. There's almost too much money involved in the youth side of the game, if that makes sense. Because when you look at soccer, it costs a fortune for a kid to go to the tournament, pay the dues.
Right.
LeBron James didn't have that. He just got a ball and played with his friends, and that's how he became great.